Oh my God. Did y'all get into this episode of Queen of the South? Baby, we were halfway through and I had to start drinking. I said they gonna drive me to drink. What's up, Queen Familia? This is your girl, Miss Sophia, the Diva, and I'm back here again, of course, for another review of Queen of the South. This week's episode is entitled La Mujer en el Espejo. What that translates out to be is the woman in the mirror. I'm talking with the woman in the mirror. I'm asking her to change her ways. Yeah. But this episode, oh my God, Dumas, I was like praying for him to leave. He redeemed himself at the end, but I was like, y'all need to kill him. Kill him. Kill the judge. And then we really wouldn't have a season 4, really, but either way, again, y'all, I'm Miss Sophia the Diva. If this is your first time here on my channel, please be sure to hit that subscribe button as well as the notification so you can get in touch and find out exactly when the Diva is uploading great videos like this, because we're going to talk about Queen of the South. Lord, I'm running everything together. I was about to say Queen Sugar. I was like, on Wednesday we get Queen Sugar. On Thursday nights we get Queen of the South. And Lord, let me tell y'all something. I can't keep up with all these TV shows. I got to start getting paid to watch this shit, because good Lord, Nielsen, don't y'all want me to watch some stuff? I'm just saying. In this episode, sadly, as we saw in the previews, because I was like, damn, y'all didn't even give us time to think, well, did she survive? Is she in ICU? Why couldn't Birdie just be in ICU, y'all? Come on now. Y'all didn't have to do Birdie like that. So last week, when we left off, the war has started. Dumas is upset because bodies keep dropping in his camp. And while it is of his own making, when you about that life, you can't rationalize and realize that, hey, I'm the reason why people close to me are dying. And, and this is the life that you chose, and you chose to steal from someone you don't even really know. And then you've got a fastidious intermeddler, the judge. We find out later on he's part of the problem as well. And so is his henchman, the corrupt detective that he always keeps around and is on his payroll. So Teresa has to go down to the morgue and identify the body. And what hurt the most, I think, is the fact that we see in a flashback or in a preview or something where she gives Teresa her lucky coin and says, I've always had luck since I've had it, and I'm loaning it to you. Her luck ran out in the alley. All she was doing was trying to take trash out, and Dumas' man was laying in wait and stabbed her to death. I see that Teresa survived her ride with Javier. I was a little scared and concerned about that because last week, his phone kept going off, and we didn't see him drop Boaz off at the airport. But we learned this episode that there's a reason why he hurried up and got Boaz back on the plane to Mexico. Okay. Turns out Boaz, first of all, we wonder what the hell was your ass, where were your antennas, when you should have been at the tequila bar taking the trash out, and maybe Birdie still would have been alive, because I don't know what his business and Teresa's business was that night when they were riding out, but I do believe part of his job description is to be down to the bar where the rich cars be, at the tequila bar. Funky Daniva. But we found out his secret. And him and Teresa got 2 secrets. They both got secrets between them. So, as we learn in this episode. So, Boaz's love of his life is now in love with his cousin Javier. I said, baby, this is a hot ass mess. And Teresa was like, what the hell? Because they made a drop off at his house. And they were like, where was your ass? Basically. And they see the girl, and she runs upstairs and hides. And Boaz, Javier is like, yo, they used to be Boaz's woman. He loved all the women, but this is his favorite. Okay. I was like, you need to get rid of him because that's not good for business. But ultimately, just to summarize this storyline right here, Teresa likes to go get her keys played by the piano man from time to time. Well, Javier has to pick her up at one point. And she was like, well, we both have secrets. And she was like, do we need to get some security for her, because, we both know each other's secrets. Bottom line is this. She tells Javier, you Boaz is my associate, but you work for me now. Javier redeems himself because, part of the reason why all of this shit got started or could have been prevented is had him and Boaz not been down to the swamps trying to get rid of some bodies because Javier blew his gasket and beat the dog shit out of a man and killed him with his bare hands, basically. So he redeems himself this episode. Before that, Kellyanne is so grieved about, Birdie, and she tells Teresa, I was like, shut the hell up, Kellyanne, no one wants to talk to you. But Teresa does go and check in on Tony. Tony expresses his interest in being part of the cartel. Baby, you don't want to be about that life. Your parents did that because they felt like that was the only way they could survive. Teresa is doing it because this is a life she's been given. You can just enjoy the fruits of her labor and not have to be part of the cartel. But I also feel as though young Tony is looking for a way to avenge his father's death. And sadly, we find out that may come sooner than later. I pray not, but we'll get into that. But back to Javier and his redemption. So now that Javier knows that Teresa possibly will let him live and spare his life as long as he gets on the right track, he's like, whatever you want me to do, I'm going to do. Javier set up some Dumas men because they sitting on ready. They just waiting for them to come out, and they've been tracking them and trying to hit all of Teresa's people. Even though the judge told him he could only have one, you got Birdie. So what more do you need? But he's still coming. So Javier sets them up. He gets on the bike, leads them to a garage, and pop, 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 pop. It's a setup. They all dead. The 2 men dead. So that's 2. Let's not forget that Dumas is, 1 and 5. Teresa 1. You got 5. I'm just saying, the judge lost 2, quite frankly. You know what? I find that interesting. This whole, ever since dude been missing, ain't nobody said nothing. Like the liquor license dude, y'all ain't missed him at his job. And whomever the fat dude was that came to his age, I assume that was a sidekick. Y'all don't miss them. Like, yeah, ain't nobody asked where they at. Who do that? So Dumas lost a man when he hit Teresa the first time. That's when he messed with old dude's stash that was going to Miami. Then he lost Bobby, but Bobby did that to himself. Now you done lost a dude that was chasing Teresa, one that you cared about. Then you lost 2 on the roof that was chasing Javier. Dumas' dumbass gets so mad, he decides to call some hitters in from out of town. Y'all, he done called in a dude that looked like Suge Knight. I said, oh Lord, he done found Suge Knight's brother or cousin or somebody. They from the ATL where the players dwell, where they found out that you can't come play in New Orleans. This ain't what you want. Okay. So Teresa and the judge end up having a meetup, and he pulls her over while they out minding their own damn business. And I'm like, can they live? No, Teresa can't live. The judge is a snake. He is a good snipe. I don't like him. I wish he could just die and go away. And he's very sexist and racist. I said, these good old boys down here in the South, boy, they love to say shit to black women and Latinas and minorities and think that it's okay. But he basically was telling her, just cool your pretty little heels and all this stuff. I said, I got on heels. I'm going to go right in your temple with this stiletto, boo-boo. How about that? Let's just pop, pop! Just right in the head, single white female style, but in your temple. I'm going to get you your temple. He also told Teresa that she drew first blood. I'm like, technically Dumas did, and he did it of his own doing, so I'm kind of like, it's his fault. Also, we now have figured out why Javier's phone was blowing up from the last episode suspiciously. He wouldn't answer it because it was his boo thing calling to let him know that she had just touched down and he needed to pick her up from the airport. Okay, but Boaz was still in town, so he had to hurry and get Boaz out of town so he could get his boo, who used to be Boaz's boo. Gotta wrap that up too. Pote is very protective about Teresita. All this war, disorder, and chaos is going on. He gotta protect her. He goes to see a Santorinian priestess, and she does the prayer of protection. And I think that is legit real when they show that on TV, because that's not the first time I've seen that. Believe it or not, that girl on Next Day Air did it, and I've seen it a few other times. So, I guess that must be how they legit do it. They do the real thing for TV. I don't know. But either way, it's a prayer of protection. Thank God he got a prayer of protection because it landed on him too. Because I thought for sure we were going to lose Pote again almost. Y'all can't keep doing this to me, Queen of the South. Y'all just can't do this. When Pote is leaving, the high priestess, child, the Suge Knight dude almost got. Everybody say hi to Miss Pumpkin because she want to be the center of attention right now. Oh, that's sweet baby. Anyway, y'all, Pote, thank God he got those prayers of protection on him because he got ambushed by these Atlanta dudes. So after the rooftop hit, Dumas assesses the situation and realizes he needs some backup. So he's standing outside, and this dude, Cedric, I think it was telling him, we can handle this ourselves. I'm like, it's like 2 to 5, basically. So what y'all gonna do? For every 2 million y'all got, it's like 3 of Teresa. So, they come up, and the leader of this gang or this group is there for Dumas, and they plan to do this all night. They plan to hit everybody all night, and the first person they hit is Pote. Pote managed to get away. They almost got him, and he managed to get away. So we were all glad for that. I had to be like, hey, look now, we halfway through this shit, and y'all fucking with my spirit right now. Y'all really are Queen of the South. Finally, Teresa's like, okay, that's it, fine. What do you want, Judge? We need to make this go away because this is getting out of control. He was like, fine, I'm going to need 10%. And she was like, fine, 10%. Meanwhile, though, she sends Javier on another recon. He follows, I guess now Dumas is number 2 to some convenience store where he learns that dude actually speaks Spanish, okay? Because he was talking to the cashier and was speaking to her in Spanish. So Javier follows him, and he follows him to an alley where he sees him talking to the judge's detective, that corrupt detective. And that's when it comes out that Cedric is the reason why all of this shit is going on, because he's been playing both sides. All the information that he gives it to the judge and that corrupt detective. And so, meanwhile, they ended up snatching him up, and Teresa sets it up for him to take some money at a drop-off for a Mercedes-Benz. But she says it all in Spanish. I was like, well, does she know he speaks Spanish? So come to find out, she calls Dumas and tells him, we need to talk. So what ended up happening ultimately, when she gave the judge the go-ahead where she would give him his 10% cut, what happened is that he had all them Atlanta boys rounded up and arrested. So now Dumas is still vulnerable again. So she calls Dumas, she sets Cedric up, and then they confront him. Because what it is that he calls the dude and lets him know that, hey, well, wait a minute, let me back it up. So Teresa now gets Cedric. While she's on the phone, she's giving these instructions about where to pick up some money from this old Mercedes-Benz, right? He calls the detective. They meet up. Dumas and Teresa are standing there looking and seeing what's going on. And she was like, now we know who the mole is. And I thought it was you that told the judge. And it turns out it was your boy. They confront him. He lives to fight another day. And the reason why he said that he did it was because the judge was telling him he was looking at 10 years and he didn't want to do those 10 years. And I'm just like, dudes be looking at 25 to life and do that time without opening their mouth and betraying their brother. Dumas wants to kill him. Because had it not been for him, Bobby probably would still be alive. And so would his 2 other men and the other guy that got killed while chasing Teresa. You is stupid. And so basically the lesson in all of it is the fact that, that she said bullshit, that would get you killed. And I've had people do that before. I've had somebody do a go-between thing and come to find out lies become truth. All it takes is somebody to say, well, do you know what so-and-so said about you? And then the next thing you'd be like, I know she didn't say nothing about me because she's so-and-so, so-and-so. Then she runs back and tells. That's how that goes. And it's pretty much what happened in this situation. Teresa and Dumas come to the conclusion that the judge thinks that he's going to run this like a plantation, but they got a trick for his ass. The judge, on the other hand, is thinking, hey, I'm going to exploit these minorities. Of course, I'm sure he's thinking something else. I'm going to exploit them and then I'm going to get my jail built, and then I'm going to put them in it. I'm just like, oh my God. You don't want none of that. And quite frankly, I think they should just kill you, quite frankly. I think that's what should happen. But the kicker in all of this at the end of the episode, Teresa just wants to run a clean, legit business as legit as possible, because in the dope game, people are ruthless. But that may not be able to happen when you got infighting within your own group. Unfortunately, Tony had to overhear Pote tell Kellyanne that it was him that killed his father. Tony hears this, becomes enraged, and goes to grab his gun. My thing is this, Tony, don't do it. Your father chose that life. He was about that life. He knew the consequences. When you are there, sometimes you have to kill the people that are your homeboys and homegirls and people you love and care about. That's why it ain't for everybody. Everybody ain't built for that. Next week, I hope Pote lives to fight another day. I hope he makes it to season 5. Because Tony is big mad. He is pissed. But either way, the lessons we can take away from this episode is, number 1, everyone just wants to love their own. Number 2, greed. Don't allow it to corrupt your logical thinking. Be strategic, not a fool. Because in the end, in the war, no one wins. Everybody loses. Lose something. Lose some people, lose their dignity, their mental, whatever. But I really did enjoy this episode. It had me on the edge of my seat. It made me want to go grab a drink. But thank you so much, Queen of the South on USA, for this great episode of The Woman in the Mirror. Or as we say in Espejo, La Mujer en el Espejo. Has a J-O at the end. You can do yo or you can do jo. So, y'all know I took Spanish, right? But either way, that's all I've got for this episode of Queen of the South. I loved it! And be sure to catch me on Diva Disturb on BFAM 109.6 every Tuesday night. But that's all I've got. I've been Miss Sophia the Diva. Stay fabulous, buttercups. And be sure to subscribe while you're here.